24 hours of them killing it.
No, not even. We bought it a little over a month and a half ago. They butchered it a week ago. And we just got to hang it and cure it, age it, and all that. And we weren't actually supposed to get it until next week. But the rancher that we bought it from had something come up, and she's going to Texas in the morning. So we got to go grab it off the hooks today. And then I got a quarter of a pig coming up that we're going to pick up at the beginning of June.
All right.
I love it when we have couples watching the show together. Steve says Dave and I aren't a couple. Maybe you should rethink that. Good morning, sunshine.
Then he says Steve beast him to it, and
I bet he did. I see Dave, Steve, see Jamie and Megan are in here together. Couples learning with couples. Hallelujah. Good morning, guys. Good morning. We are also live on Rumble over there. And a couple of minutes behind. So I love that we have Rumble. I do. And I love that Rumble doesn't throw us off for saying things like, that are true. But there's still a little bit of a learning curve on Rumble. There is something that happens in Rumble. Rumble takes more to set the show up in the morning, and you have to do it before you set up anything else. And there's some little trick in there that every now and then it fails, and I have to start over from the beginning. And unlike every other channel that we're on, when you go to set up Rumble, you have to upload an intro video, and it takes time. And I think Jamie meant to say I can't chat in Rumble for some reason. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with you, man, because everybody else seems to do it okay. Luddite. Anyway. So, what are we talking about this? Hey, Danny's with us. Good morning, friend. So, what are we talking about this morning, Cameron?
Well, Meme More Monday. So, we're going to talk about the meme that is Jen Psaki. And yes, yeah. I know it's Psaki, but I've had contempt for this woman for some time, honestly. So there's not, that's kind of distracting, isn't it?
That's incredibly distracting. Okay. That's not what we're doing the show about this morning, but this dude's apparently having a rough morning. He, apparently this is an underwater 50-meter dash. Looks like he was doing just fine under the ice. Guys, this is one of those things I just will never understand. And look, he was like 6 inches from the hole and everything went wrong.
Yeah, and like, how come nobody stuck their hand in the hole to like try and guide him?
There's a guy in the hole waiting for him.
Oh.
I'm suddenly honestly interested to see how this turns out. Looks like they're going to try to smash the... Is he going back? Oh, there's a safety rope.
Yeah.
Wow. That is not the one you want right there.
No, it's not. And yeah.
Okay, so I was not ready for that.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the long hair is distracting. Look, I can't help it that I look like a fucking Pantene Pro V commercial. Well, okay, I can help it, but I choose not to.
I could shave my head again, but, well, this is America now. So
Yeah, man, you talk about one of those things where you hear about people have certain hobbies, and you're like, who was the first person to do that? How did you discover that was a hobby? Like, who decided, I know, I'll swim under that ice on purpose?
I don't think this one's like who lit the first frog ass. I think this one's probably more like, guys, so, no shit, there I was fishing in the ice, and it just gave up, but I couldn't get back up through the hole that I fell through, and so I just took, I must have gone like 50, 60 meters. It was awful. It was awful. Oh, and then somebody's like, no, you couldn't have swum 60 meters under the ice. No, man, it totally happened. Bullshit. Prove it. Yeah, let's go. And then all of a sudden it was, well, shit, if you can do 60, I bet I could do 80.
Oh, so this was not hold my beer.
Not at first.
Yeah, still, that's one of those things, like, I remember there was a time when, like, a lot of my friends were like, oh, we're going to train to be MMA fighters, and we're going to spar with each other. It's like, y'all can have it. Oh, Cameron, what, are you scared? No, I'm not scared. It's just, I know where this goes.
Yep.
And I don't want to be on the other side of that bridge. That makes me a sissy, then nope.
In fairness, when I did my MMA fighter training, I was in the Army. And, and that's a much more controlled environment. That's the way it should be done. So
Jen Psaki.
Yeah.
Well, I was about to say that I have so much contempt for her ever since, because she's an Obama girl. Like, we're tracking on all that, right?
Yep.
Okay. And, okay, so let me just back up and say, all right, just to kind of frame this, and we're going to talk more about Psaki than we are the conspiracy theory as it were. But I am becoming more and more convinced that who's pulling Joe Biden's strings? Well, Obama. We were talking the other day, right, about, you know, who the head of the Democrat Party is by whoever has the most emotional clout. Like, they might start out being on strings, but then it's a situation where Pinocchio can literally cut his own strings and then run his own life. And so I contend that Obama was at one point in time a puppet. Like, I mean, we're talking about a guy that barely had a state Senate career in Illinois, and then barely had a national career in the Senate, somehow became buddies with Ted Kennedy overnight before Ted Kennedy internally exploded, and then boom, he was the president because everybody loved him. Okay, well, I think once you have that kind of emotional appeal to the Democrat Party, you kind of become the de facto leader. No matter what the oligarchs behind you would prefer, they now at least have to treat you like an equal. So Obama is at the top of that paradigm. And we were talking to say, hey, do you remember who ran for president in 2008? Well, of course you remember Bernie because he's Bernie. And you remember Hillary because she's a Clinton. But we forget, Joe Biden also ran for president in 2008.
Yep.
And
that was his first run for president.
No.
Since the one where he quit because he got caught plagiarizing his entire campaign.
Right. And then who elevated Biden? Who needed to add a little gravitas to his White House? And so the elder statesman Biden got tapped to be the vice president. Well, gosh, there you go. So anyhow, I say all that to say, now that Biden is president, and I think we could say there's clearly some level of funny business going on with the Biden presidency. I'm not saying what that is, but there is some level of funny business. And yeah, I think that it's actually Obama who's still running things. Like, dude has a home that he maintains in Washington D.C.
Yep.
Why would you do that unless you wanted to keep your fingers on the levers of power? Like, look, Bush did a lot of things that in retrospect I disagree with now more than I did then, but at least he left D.C. when his term was over. Obama did not. I mean, I'm just saying.
Nope. That's fair. That's fair. And it looks like there's actually quite a bit of speculation around who's going to replace Psaki. I'm looking at several different articles here. Like, what? No, I don't want your cookies. You go away.
Dave says you can't MMA fight with girl hair. I disagree. The female MMA fighters do it all the time. And that Fallon Fox dudette. I'm not dead naming anybody. Also did it with girl hair. They just put it in they put it in a bun.
Yes.
Anyhow, but Jen Psaki, currently White House press secretary, but not for much longer.
And it looks like dude, the post is saying Psaki could reportedly replace Rachel Maddow. I wonder if there's no way they fire Rachel Maddow. They get in trouble with the trans community.
Wow, that's awful, dude. Rachel Maddow doesn't claim to be trans. She just looks trans.
I believe you mean he looks trans.
Whoa, did Rachel Maddow transition when I wasn't looking?
No, but he's absolutely Michael Knowles' twin brother.
Okay.
So basically, what we've got here is Jen Psaki is tired of telling sloppy lies for an incompetent White House and for an incompetent DNC, or rather, an incompetent White House and a corrupt DNC. And so, she's taken a job offer, like many of her predecessors, to go and tell more well-crafted and carefully constructed lies for a corrupt and evil DNC.
It's the same lie.
MSDNC.
I like Russia's nickname better. PMSNBC.
Yeah.
That was... No, but it's the same lie. Okay, so...
See? That is a dude.
No, that is Pat from Saturday Night Live.
I don't know. I'll give him this. He's thinner.
Oh, just quick aside. Do you know they made a Pat movie?
I would like to not have known that.
It wasn't the best Saturday Night Live movie ever, but Steve Buscemi played the counterpoint androgynous character to Pat. So there was some comedy.
Okay,
in it.
now I might have to see that. Steve Buscemi is hilarious. But
anyhow, Jen Psaki. No, look, it's the same lie though. Okay, like there's only a difference in name. Like Scott Adams made the joke, be like, "Oh, she's changing job titles, but not jobs."
That's correct.
I mean,
I wish that were a joke. That's one of those, like, you know, some of the things that Scott Adams says that are meant to be jokes, they read a lot like it's, hey, remember when the Babylon Bee was satire?
Yes, I mean,
instead of the Daily Prophecy.
Well, when you're at the point where there's a site that says that claims to be not the bee,
right?
And that's the other part of it too. Like, satire is supposed to be satire, so you understand. You don't ever want to take things to this extreme. Satire, it's like some people read 1984 and go, "Ooh, all right. So let's pump the brakes on authoritarianism." Other people read 1984 and they're like, "Oh, I'm taking notes. This is good shit."
Right. And these are those people. Peppermint Patty. Hillary Clinton,
look,
etc.
she was a nobody, and then suddenly she works for the State Department under Obama, and that whole condescending, like, no facial expression whatsoever, talking to the press. That's when that started. That's when I first became aware of Jen Psaki. And then she was like a contributor for CNN for a time, and then she left that position to go be the press secretary for Joe Biden, and now she's leaving the Biden White House to potentially go work for MSNBC. And look, the capitalist in me doesn't actually have a problem with it. What I have a problem with is the pretense that this is not corrupt and biased and there's all the nepotism and everything else that goes along with it. I'd actually be a lot more comfortable with the whole thing if they would just own it.
Yeah, it's one big incestuous loop where you see them go back and forth between the various networks of state propaganda, DNC machine, press outlets like MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, etc. And then they just kind of filter back into the White House, and then they kind of filter back out into the press corps, and it's back and forth and back and forth. They take turns holding each other's coffee. Just all standing around. There's 13 liars and 12 cups of coffee, and you go out and you lie to the crowd for a while, and then you come back and somebody hands you the cup they were sipping on, and you fill it up and hold it for them.
Yeah. You know what I think this signals, though? And I think because she's an Obama girl, okay, I think it's getting to the point now. I think there was a paradigm shift with the Hunter Biden laptop, okay? When the paper of record, and yeah, I say that with big giant air quotes, finally reports, yeah, okay, there is a Hunter Biden laptop, and there might be some awful stuff on it. And look, we still haven't had that diary thing come back around yet. And apparently what's in the diary is so salacious that James O'Keefe is still refusing to verify it.
Right. And
which means yikes on all the fucking bikes. Right?
And like the diary that you're talking about, this is Joe's daughter.
Uh-huh.
Apparently the one that's not so salacious that we can't know about it, I think is the best way to phrase that. The item of concern that hasn't been carefully guarded to this point is that apparently as an adult, Biden's daughter would shower with him. And And that had been going on for some time. And that's one of those guys, there is some serious weirdness going on in the old Biden administration, in the Biden household.
How broken are these people? Like, what happens to you when you achieve a certain level of power where you just, I don't know.
I'll tell you what happens. You become the president of the United States at the same time that the enemy left is in active, full-blown warfare against the criminalization of sexually grooming children in public schools.
Yeah, but, I mean, here's the thing, though. It wouldn't matter if I was presented with the opportunity to do certain things with a minor. And if I knew for 100% fact I'd never get caught, like some magical alternate reality where I could do whatever I wanted, it would be impossible to get caught. I wouldn't participate in the activity because I just wouldn't be interested.
Right. Well, we talked about this before. We talked about the Hooters waitress that we had last late summer. September. Yeah.
September.
We went into this Hooters and we had this waitress, and she was a good-looking girl, right? She's wearing a Hooters outfit, pretty little thing, but
pretty little thing, though.
Yeah, she was tiny for one, but objectively very, very fit, very attractive, well proportioned young lady, probably 21, 22 years old, and she just looked like a child.
Yeah, just too young. Just, no. I need a little more seasoning on my taco, please. Thank you.
But the enemy we're confronted with in the Bidens and their ilk are, I mean, they're sniffing babies.
But look, okay, to get back to the...
Sorry.
To get back to the point, though. There's all this stuff that's coming out. It looks like the media is finally prepared to turn on Biden, and it's rare that the media turns on a Democrat, okay?
Yes.
It is very, very rare. But I think at this point, you know, it's not hard to read the tea leaves. And, well, these tea leaves say that the Democrats are going to get obliterated in the midterms, right? So she's an Obama girl. Obama's the one pulling the strings. And now she's leaving and she's going to be nice and insulated at a job at MSNBC, can potentially even go on the record and, like, watch. She'll end up saying things like, well, you know, there are certain things I can't talk about, but there were some problems, like some of those rumors about Kamala's staff wanting to quit because she's difficult to work with or true. Watch. She'll end up saying shit like that very carefully, but very, very seriously throwing people under the bus.
I don't think she'll say it. I don't think she'll even say it all that carefully. That one in particular, because part of what an agent like Psaki is going to do, as far as carrying water for the DNC, is as soon as she's in a position to do it, part of her job is going to be to character assassinate both Biden and Kamala on behalf of the DNC, because the Democrats know they have to square with this. They will not win another election with either, let alone both of these candidates. And so they have to bring the entire Democrat voting base around to accept that Joe Biden is not going to run for a second term, and Kamala Harris will not be the president or the vice president. That's just not going to happen. So Psaki, part of what Psaki's going to end up being tasked with when she moves over to MSNBC, the DNC's marching orders for her are going to be, you need to start making Democrats dislike Kamala Harris and dislike Joe Biden, so that they're relieved when we replace them instead of concerned. Cam's coffee mug is handcrafted. My father-in-law made that.
and look, I'll shamelessly drink any and all beer whenever I want.
Oh, yeah.
But before 8 a.m. is a bit early for me.
Well, you can't drink beer all day unless you start in the morning.
Yeah, but I've tried that, and what happens is by like lunch, I need a nap.
I tried it. I've tried it too. And Steve, you'll remember, we were at Talladega. Great morning, good breakfast, drink a flat of Guinness, and then got down there, and we were in the inside corner, and I slept through the race.
Yeah, exactly.
Even with the NASCAR sweeping, no.
Yeah,
fell asleep.
Yeah, those guys that drink all day, they're just like, yeah, let's have a wakey whiskey. I'm like, you do you, buddy, not me.
And roll on, brother. Well,
so
I don't have much more to say on this.
Other than it's a big, obvious incestuous thing, and she's an Obama girl, and they're gonna insulate her. I wonder who else.
And I'll hit everybody with this real quick before we.
Oh, but you can't see the whole thing. You haven't seen this movie, have you? Hello?
The movie?
Yeah. This is a movie.
That's from, it's the Sunglasses at Night story with the lizard people, right?
Yeah, no, you haven't seen the movie. I mean, you are somewhat correct, but no, that's John Carpenter. It's funny. He wrote it as like an anti-capitalist screed, but now neo-Nazis take it and have reinterpreted it as an anti-Jewish screed. It's hilarious.
Boy, there's a conversation.
Yeah. Well, definitely one we can't have on YouTube. But, yeah, Dave, great movie. Love John Carpenter, one of my favorite directors. But, yeah, I wonder who the other rats that are going to sink ship are.
We're going to jump ship? I'd love for all the rats to sink ship.
Wow. Again, with the Freudian slippage there. That was...
Wouldn't that work out great? That's a good question. I don't know.
And I wonder how many of them are so far off the radar, like they're just not going to get noticed. Like, ooh, here's one. Let's bring back a classic. Like, Pete Buttigieg is transportation secretary.
Apparently they're floating him for.
They live. Thank you, Dave.
They're floating booty juice for president. I don't see it happening. Not in a free and fair election.
No, in a free, fair, and fortified election, he'll totally win. Yeah, all the stuff,
Booty juice.
Look, I just
fortified with mail-in ballots.
I really just want to hammer the point. Okay, I wish they would just own the bias, right? I'm actually okay with really whatever. Like, go get your money, go work whatever job, go engage in anything. Like, as long as you're not causing harm. To different angle on the gay frogs then. Well played, sir. That might be top comment.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that one. Top kicks for Steve. Booty juice is a frog now.
I wish they would just be honest about, you know, the bias, okay? Yes, on the one hand, it gives us fodder. You know, it's Meme More Monday, and we can talk about the meme that is Peppermint Psaki, right? But at the same time, and I guess this, again, it's like I never really realized how much Rush Limbaugh influenced my thinking, not on media in general, but the thing that made Rush credible was he was honest about what his opinions were. He was coming at everything that he said as a partisan. He had emotions and history and all sorts of things invested in his points of view. And I think it's why a lot of guys like us, we heard Tim Pool for the first time and realized, you know what, that dude's pretty credible. He doesn't... Right. I might not agree with everything that he says, but he's not trying to lie to me because his bias is right here.
Well, and when you look at media generally, this is how bias works. On the right, you have guys like Steven Crowder, to a lesser extent Tim Pool, because Tim Pool is not a conservative. He's been red-pilled away from Bernie a bit. But you know, you got your Steven Crowders, your Ben Shapiro's, Michael Knowles, us, you know, and Rush Limbaugh, and these are all people who say, look, I wear my bias on my sleeve. I am a right-wing conservative person. I believe that the government should leave me alone. I should live in a free world. I should keep the money I work for. And then on the left, what you have is people who keep telling you, we are unbiased, fair, straight shooters. We are right down the middle. We don't pick sides. And we absolutely believe that teachers should talk to your children about anal sex when they're in kindergarten.
Okay, groomer.
So, hard right, psychotic hard right, tinfoil hat conspiracy theory world. Hey, I want the government to not tell me when I'm allowed to paint my barn. Dead center fair reporting. Your children should be exposed to transgenders in devil
Public
clown
libraries.
costumes in public libraries, reading them children's stories about anal sex. And, okay, bias, freedom, unbiased, child grooming. That's where we are. So if you hear somebody say, look, I'm not interested in politics, or I'm a right in the middle, I'm a centrist. They're psychotic. They're pro-sex trafficking, pro-child grooming, pro-abortion, authoritarian, communist psychopaths. And I'm tired of pretending that they're not. Not that I've been pretending that. I'm tired of the world. I'm tired of the average American pretending that these people are not malicious, vile human beings.
I sincerely believe we need only make it through the... now flip back over to... I know we're at 8 o'clock, but flip back over to this picture real quick. Because, boy, you just want to talk about, like... the children...
Bringing offerings to the master?
Well, and the children are the only ones that are masked.
Right.
Like, I just can't... Man, talk about rules for me, not for thee. Like, they even do it with their own kids.
And
how many times has she had COVID? But she's, like, totally quadruple vaccinated, right?
Right.
Or, and again, conspiracy. She skipped that disastrous European trip because she had the COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that really why she skipped the disastrous European trip?
Not at all. You don't think she's got the resources to say, look, I've got the COVID, but we're going to pay off some people and take visible precautions to continue pretending like we believe this is a dangerous problem because this trip is so important. No. So, all right, that's all I've got for this morning, and we got to get moving. So, love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. But don't forget to tune in tonight at 9 o'clock. That's 2100 Eastern Standard Time. You can catch us on the Brushfire Mind or Polytech, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. The list goes on, but those are the big five. So we'll be on 10 plus channels tonight, and we will be live with Jared Schmeck, the guy that called Joe Biden on Christmas with his kids and got the president, Joe Biden, to say, "Let's go, Brandon." And we'll see you tonight.